I was just talking to a friend of mine on the phone earlier, and when I talk about my past, I'm just reminded of some of the craziest stuff I used to do when I was on crack, right? So, I used to rob a lot of people. I went to prison for armed robbery, and I was the kind of crack addict, that would do pretty much anything outside of doing some gay shit. I would do pretty much anything that it took to get some money. Um, and my thing was stealing and robbing stuff like that. So anyway, I was working at this job at this warehouse, and I was a security guard. Now get this, I was a security guard at this warehouse, and me and this guy worked together, covering the whole lot and everything like that. Here, this is the story about me robbing my coworker while he was on the job, right? So, and I'm not bragging about it. I'm just telling stories about things I used to do and how crazy I was when I was out there on crack. It just didn't matter to me. I probably was the worst person you could run across. Not that I was this tough guy, but crack made me crazy, so I would do whatever it took to get crack. But anyway, so I worked with this guy every day, 5 days a week, and it was his weekend to work, and it was my weekend off, right? So he was up in the guard booth, right? And this is the night that I relapsed on crack, right? So the night I relapsed, I ran out of money. And it might have been the next day I ran out of money, but nevertheless, I ran out of money. So I'm thinking, like, where can I get some money? Who can I rob? What can I do, right? And I think of this guy, and I know he just got paid, right? I know because we had just got paid, so I know we just got paid, and I knew he had some money, right? So here's my coworker. I'm thinking in my head, I got this other guy that's driving me up here. I'm like, take me up to this spot. I'm about to rob this guy. Now, mind you, I'm going to rob my coworker on the job, right? So I go up here, and when I go into the booth with him, he like, hey, Greg, what's up? What you doing here this late? And I'm like, I just cut up, right? I'm like, give me your money, and I didn't even know that the dude back then, it was food stamps, right? I didn't even know the dude was getting food stamps, and I robbed him of his money, food stamps, and everything. And, it's just the crazy stuff that I used to do. So the next day, I get this call from the police station. It is a true story. I get this call from the police station. It's a female officer, and she was like, we got a report that you robbed, you know, the employee at this place, and we know that you work there, right? And I just simply told her, I said, I didn't do any of that. I don't know what you're talking about. And here's the crazy, strange thing, and you can call it God or whatever. Somebody's always been watching out for me, right? And this was they had cameras back then still. They knew it was me. So they never called me again. They never called me back again and say, sir, we're about to come arrest you, or sir, come down to the police station. Nothing came of that. But the fact of the matter is, I just think back, like I said, talking to a friend of mine today, some of the craziest stuff that I did where it just didn't matter. I got so many crazy stories of my crack life, of being in prison, from here to California, crazy stuff I did to keep smoking. But that's just one crazy story.